All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the December edition of the Wisconsin Chapter NRHS online slideshow. We do these things in even numbered months on the third Thursday of even numbered months, third Tuesday. That's what this is. So that means our next one will be February 21st. Today's lineup, we had been scheduled for a full 5 presenters, but one of our presenters ended up having to cancel sort of at the last minute. So we're missing Andy Worley. He was originally going to be here, but something came up that he couldn't make it. So our lineup for today will be Ron Burkhard, and he's gonna show us his trip to Oregon and everything that he saw on the way there and on the way back. And then we're going to have L. Lawrence is going to be doing his Union Pacific coastline program, and then Ed Kohler is going to be doing showing us 2 tours of the new Grand Central Madison station in New York City. And then we'll wrap it up with me and my little thing on towboats and trains in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. I cover the waterfront. So all kinds of neat stuff there. Now, I've muted everybody. I should mute myself here. I'm sitting in my kitchen and my dishwasher's going off. Sorry about that. So without any further ado, let me just say welcome to everybody again, and thank you. Welcome to, especially to our guests, folks who are here for the first time. Glad you're here. And welcome to our members. And it is our members that make these meetings and these presentations possible. If you would be interested in joining the Wisconsin chapter of the NRHS, you don't need to live in Wisconsin to become a member, because we sure have members, I don't know, 23, 24 states right now. It's real simple to become a member to support the work we're doing here. And you can do that online. Just go straight to www.nrhswis.org and just punch the button and join. Real simple to do. And I'll also mention to this to our members, thanks to those of you who have renewed for 2023. Appreciate that. And if you haven't done that, easy enough to do online as well. So with that, I'm going to turn the stage over to Ron Burkhard. Ron, would you unmute yourself and give us your presentation, please? Welcome, Ron Burkhard.
All right. Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. First off, I'm recovering from bronchitis, so if I will try to get to the mute button if I let off with a hacking. So please bear with me. In October, I went on a Pete Laro charter in Oregon, and a friend of mine couldn't make it due to some medical problems. So after a 12-hour drive from Fond du Lac out to Hill City, this is what greeted me, was 2 hot 2662s. And I found this rather interesting, a truss rod 50-foot double sheath boxcar. Probably people have seen it, but anyway, I found this just to be typical railroad junk. And the CNS 620 lives. If anybody wants to do a faithful restoration, we can get the cab. This is the next morning, leaving Hill City for Keystone. And then one of the road crossings on the Hill City Keystone Road. Engine was down on its hands and knees here. It was barking and there was a bit of wheel slip. And this a little further on, the line is totally up and down, and this is coming out of the sag headed toward Keystone. And after leaving Keystone, headed back, this is a campground not far from Keystone. And if anybody wants to buy a piece of land right here and a house, there's a house off to the right and it's for sale. I sent some photos to my wife, but she didn't bite. And this is the opposite side of that sag with an old wagon in the foreground. And I had a dinner engagement in Missoula for the next night, so I had to get to Billings for the evening. This is the next morning at Springdale, Montana. I'd hoped to get some snow and some MRL stuff. You can see a little bit of snow up in the mountains through the haze. Traffic was a little light. They had some track gangs out. This was in Bozeman. This is a rounded ops going to be a hunting cabin. I don't know where it had been, but it was obviously good enough condition that it could be hauled on its own wheels. This is a Harrison rock train. They had been doing quite a bit of work. This was just in the side. Both motors were dead. And a couple of motors at Logan, power for the branch line local for Monday. And at Toston, ran in. I heard about a coal train going east. And I said, coal trains don't go east on the Montana rail link. Well, it turns out there's a dock workers strike where a lot of the coal trains are unloaded, and they were taking them back east to give to the Canadian National at some other location. So this was kind of a dog's breakfast of a consist. So anyway, this loaded coal train, and they brought the power to go over Bozeman Pass. They brought the power all the way from Livingston all the way over to Logan to get on the rear end to shove it over Bozeman. And this is over at Elliston, some helper power getting ready to go back to. I would have gone over the scenic route, but Jay Lensner, who's a member, lives out there, told me, yeah, you don't want to go on that road. The Forest Service has not maintained it. He says that's not a place where you want to go with a car that you want to get someplace with. And this is Jen's. For those who have not been there for a while, there is now a rather tall chain link fence on both parts of the bridge, the cement girders. And this is the DPU. And the next morning after breakfast, this is the gas local headed back toward Missoula at Thompson Falls. And I wish I'd had a bit longer lens. This is 300 millimeters. I didn't want to get down anywhere near the construction zone, so I just picked a spot and got a couple of going away images of on the old bridge. They opened the new bridge about 10 days after I was there. And this is Lynn, Washington, from the overpass. About 4 miles beyond is the bridge, the Milwaukee Road Bridge at Lind, which has been removed at the railroad's request, at the BNSF's request. And this is Prosser, Washington, on Washington 14. And then Lyle, Washington. Not a safe spot to pull other place to pull off that are safe, but to get across and perch yourself, you're depending on the guardrail to protect you. So if somebody hits the guardrail, it's going to be close. And this is in Albany, Oregon. This is a switch engine for the Albany and Eastern. And then we went a little ways east toward Lombard. I'm getting my names mixed up. Anyway, here's the Albany Eastern coming with their one-car interchange train. The Weyerhaeuser was on strike, so their business was way down. It was hurting them badly. This is after bringing the one car in and getting their train going back east. Lebanon is where I'm thinking of. Anyway, this is the train coming up underneath Interstate 5, headed right back to Lebanon. And it's real good track, but they only do about 20-25 miles an hour. This is near Tallman. And they set out one of the hoppers back there in the back, toward the back of the train at Tallman. I believe these are B40s, but I'm not sure. I'm not a diesel aficionado. And this is another one of their B40s question mark at the engine compound, or at the compound where they keep their equipment. And if you look off to the left, you see a little bit of steam. And this is Santa Maria Valley 205. That was our power for the next several days. And I had to get a picture of it going by a certain car from Wisconsin. Then we went back over to Albany and caught a northbound UP freight train. He was moving north, headed toward the siding, so we get clear for Amtrak number 11, the Coast Starlight, or Starlight, as the case may be. This time he was on time. Next morning, it was very foggy, and the fog lasted the first day until 4 in the afternoon. So there are any number of run-bys. And this is at the Gilkey covered bridge at milepost 101. This is on the Mill City branch that's still owned by the UP and is leased by the Albany and Eastern. And Martin Hanson found a loophole in the clause that said that no steam engines can be run on this branch. So we were able to get a ride on this line. And this is an old Ford truck owned by the owner of the Albany and Eastern, and he is driving it. They took a great pride in this charter, and they bent over backwards to make sure everything went just exactly right. And this was a rolling run by. Both the train and the truck were moving. Then we went up into the Santiam River Gorge and had several run-bys at this location. And this is actually a ledge, and the terrain drops almost vertically straight down to the river. If you miss a step, you're going to go. We did the run-bys in 2 passes for each run-by, so we get the number of people in there because it was quite crowded. And we went up to a curved trestle, and this was a take a picture and rotate out so somebody else behind you could get it. There was no run by at this location. And this was a coach that we rode in, ex CNW Great Northern. That's the original number. Obviously the paint isn't quite right. This is just north of Crabtree, Oregon. Had a night photo session at Lebanon Gills Landing RV Park. And we did a night run by here also. Had to get the moon in the shot. This is the next morning. The fog cleared off this morning, probably about I guess 1 o'clock, something like that. And this is out at Tallman, which is west of Lebanon. Then we went back into town for some street running photos. Got quite a few older cars. And they arranged for all the locals to park their cars on another street. So we had free use of the street for about 2 hours. On the left is Rick Franklin, who owns the Albany and Eastern. And on the right is George Lavacott, who restored the 205 over a period of about 35 years. And he sold the engine to Rick Franklin. And these photos are in the exact order time-wise. So the fog came in and came out as the day progressed. And then I brought out the SD9, which was something I hadn't bargained on, but it was nice, and I appreciated it. And we went back to the bridge again to take some more daylight pictures. And it started to clear off. Now we went back into Lebanon itself, and this is by the station at Lebanon. And this is about a block south of the station. And this is a reverse pan shot.
Hi, Miss Midnight. Hi, pretty girl.
And this is some more. We went back out to Tallman for the last pictures of the day. This is I'm still perfecting my pan shots. And then we had some sunset shot images. And about, I don't know, 5 or 6 run-bys as the sun was setting here. And the next day, I spent the night in Lebanon and left early the next morning and went to Lind. I stopped here for a reason, which you'll see in a minute. Here's a westbound grain train at Lind with the DPUs. And I was going through Pasco. I saw this guy leaving town. So I had to get a picture of the inspection train. For somebody that knows more about the BNSF and their cars, they can tell me what it is, but I wasn't going to pass it up. And this is the next morning near Townsend, Montana, an eastbound grain empty right at sunup. You can see the shadow line there for the sun coming over the hills. And this is a westbound loaded grain train. Met the one that I had just shot there at Townsend. And this is him headed east again. And I got east of Lombard, Logan, and I heard a train coming, and well, it's so badly backlit here that it was crazy. This is the only shot that I got, was a 755 on a westbound train. And this is the last shot. This is from the side, from Interstate 90, about 12 miles north of Little Bighorn. Train coming north out of Casper. So that's my show, and thank you very much for putting up with me.
Ron Burkhard, everybody. Let's give Ron a round of applause.
How do I?
And
I'm trying to.
there we go. I've stopped your sharing, Ron. Anybody
good.
have any questions or anything for Ron before we move on?
I'd just like to say good stuff, Ron, and I know you shared some of this with me via email while you were taking it. It looked just as great the second time around. Even the fog shots had a certain je ne sais quoi about them.
Thank you.
Wonderful.